Welcome back, YouTube. So in today's video, we're going to, of course, take a look at the TA, the current numbers, and also talk about what the charts are saying is Dogecoin's next point of resistance, aka its next stop on its momentum train that it's on right now. And I'm also going to answer the question, is it too late to invest in Dogecoin? And if you are believing as far as the long-term catalyst or the integration with utility, I'll just say this at the beginning of the video: it's not too late, and I'll get into those reasons why a little later in the video. So looking at the current chart here on the screen, this is the short chart. You'll see that shorts have increased today again, which is normal when you start seeing us break above points of resistance. And the reason I'm saying the next stop, as a matter of fact, is because we broke above the previous point of resistance here that we've been talking about for the last few weeks, which is around that 13-cent mark. And it's looking like that we may actually close, quote unquote, above it. So this will be a great catalyst to start looking at the next cycle or the next leg up here going forward. So we see that shorts increased their percentage again today by about 24.03% from market open. Rejection here, consolidation down from 11 million, but right now we're looking at around 8 million or so. Again, it's a 24% increase. We'll go to the actual chart. And you'll see this is what I was speaking of, saying that we are closing above the previous trend here. This previous trend here, which has been tested around 5 times, it's looking like we're going to break it today. And even though we got a rejection from the high 15s, but it's looking like this candle may actually close above it. So this is very bullish, very, very bullish, actually. Going forward, this trend, we've been in this trend even since we got our first rejection off of this, since back in July. Really, even going forward, if we count the candles and sticks before, late June. So this has been, we've been in this parameter for about 5 months now, really. So this is very, very bullish momentum, and we want to have these points here of resistance, because sometimes people get upset when you see these pullbacks and stuff, and you'll see a little slick comments, and just giving you some just information about how TA works. And if you're looking to build strength in your asset, you don't want a lot of these gap ups, right? So you want things like this. This is going to add, so these points of resistance on the way up will be points of support on the way down. So you have to kind of take the good and the bad, but think long term, because a lot of times investors, they think short term, and all they want is these candlesticks right here. Well, if you've been investing for a while, or especially if you trade, you know that on the flip side of these gap ups, they're typically gap downs. So you want you want a stair approach to your long term investments, especially if you're bullish in something, because it's going to prevent a lot of these flash crashes or momentum getting it in the way of the asset to the downside. And it's also going to give you a lot of points of entry when there is, whether that's FUD or a change of plans or something like that, something out of our control, like the Fed meeting tomorrow. This gives you opportunity here to purchase coins and increase your positions without these major swings and stuff like that. Because even if we got a breakdown, it's perfectly plausible, like tomorrow, if we got a rejection or a sell-off because of the Fed meeting, for example, it's perfectly plausible to say that, okay, we can expect some resistance here at around that 11-cent mark. And you'll see here, even though this candle is red, what happened on the next day, we got our green candle. This resistance here turned into a form of support, and then we're able to take off from there and go up. So this little TA tip there, because I see a lot of the comments saying, oh, it's going back down to 6. You don't want a lot of green candles. It's about big green candles like this. It's fun on the way up, but it's hell on the way down. So let's say hypothetically we close above the current trend here, this blue line. And what are we looking at next? And I put that in a thumbnail. The last point of resistance that we had is actually saying that we should be able to go to 17 without much resistance. Granted, this certainly depends off of tomorrow. I don't believe we have a lot of institutional money in the coin right now. For saying that it's the majority of the momentum that we've seen. but I'm not going to say that it will be unfazed tomorrow, depending on what the Fed does with interest rates and stuff like that. So tomorrow can kind of be like a loop, but overall, the charts are saying that we should be able to kind of float our way to around 17 cent. And we'll see that we got a bunch of rejections here between this dotted green line here is currently where we are right now. We just went over 14. So again, momentum is still there, but a lot of our rejections here, we see 1703, low 17s, 1794. Let's see, was this 1463, 1582? But those are just really long rejections here. 1721. So you'll see that we got a lot of our candles, because I'm not even going to count the long wicks, even though those are technically rejections, but I'll count the candles here going up to our 200-day and our 72. Those are all technically rejections that we got around the 17 mark. So when we 14, 15, 16, yes, those are great points. And it certainly was a battlefield at these levels. You can look at all the red candles and green candles, but ultimately that'll be our breakthrough point here is around like this 17. And then we can start talking about 19, 20 range, which is going to be our really, really big battlefield. Our biggest battlefield going forward will be around that 20 to like 24.7 or something like that. I remember going over the numbers because it was such a huge deal when we were having our consolidation. I remember going over those numbers. That was a huge battlefield. And after that 20 to, not to get ahead of myself, but after that range here, you're going to start to see some of those gaps because the momentum that was at those higher levels and stuff like that, there are fewer points of resistance. Now we could possibly set a new trend on this climb. We'll have to kind of take that day by day. But ultimately, the biggest part of the battlefield, which as you can see right here, the back and forth, was in the zone that we're entering right now. So this is really a great opportunity here that as far as for with the coin and the fact that we're consolidating above the 13, even though we've seen shorts increase by about 50% over the last 48 hours, you'll see that we're still above 14% and the aggressiveness that people are taking with this coin. So I know a lot of this momentum that we got last night was because Elon tweeted his Doge with a Twitter shirt. So that was kind of like a wink to the community saying, hey, I haven't forgot about you guys. This is happening. Doge is coming to Twitter. So and I think a lot of times people were like, oh, okay, we get it now. We believe it. So people took some positions in the coin. And, this kind of just, this kind of like reaffirms what the community already knows and what we've been expecting is that utility is in fact going to happen. So we're expecting that at some point, we don't know when, but we just know that the factor of that mass utility can certainly add a lot of value to the coin. I went more in depth with it in yesterday's video with the math, but overall, that utility and people removing their coins from the exchanges, that can certainly put pressure on the available supply, thus giving us a increase in price. And you can look at that video for projections and stuff like that, but I'll just say higher than 14 cent for now and for simplicity's sake. So yeah, as of right now, that is our next area that we're going to encounter, where it looks like around that 17 cent mark. And I'm not saying that we can't blow through that. Don't ever try and say, okay, you can't time the market, especially with something like this, if you're waiting on utility. And I will say that because you'll see some people say, I'm waiting on a pullback and stuff like that, which is fine, especially if you have lower DCAs. That's what I was telling when I make my videos for the last few months. I've been saying, hey, 5 cents, 6 cents. I gave the parameters. I'll go back down here. This is what I was saying. I was saying this is the best time to buy. Best time to buy. Probably made 20, 30 videos during this time. Well, probably more than that, especially in this time frame, saying, hey, this is great. This is great. Great time to buy. You'd be up over 300% right now. But that is the level of opportunity here that you have with this coin going forward. And when you say that whether or not we can actually blow through like those 17 cent mark and stuff like that, it's not saying that we can't. It just depends off of the catalyst that's going on, because that wink that Elon gave the community last night, that's just saying that, okay, it's coming, but you have to account for the day of, especially some people that are trading or swing trading and stuff like that. they're probably going to look more so for hype than utility. But think about the day of the announcement or the day it actually happens and stuff like that. It's going to be that is going to be probably the most momentum in the actual price movement, like the announcement or the tweet saying that, oh, okay, I'm just using this for example, January 15th, you will be able to use Dogecoin for Twitter. That day, boom, the day that gets integrated, stuff like that. Those are the kind of things that if you're, investing and stuff like that, those are the things that you want to kind of be in before. You don't want to wait until the announcement tweet to say, oh, okay, now I'm going to buy. So you want to buy kind of when things are more quiet and stuff. So, just kind of take that into effect as you are deciding your entries or looking for places to get in. If the Fed comes out, I know I'll get this question. If the Fed comes out and says, we're going to hike, the economy is strong, whatever, we're still going to hike rates and stuff, and we did get a push down, you want to, especially since we have two tests here in this range, as of right now, until we obviously break that floor, around the 11 cent on this run is a great entry. So obviously this would be the best, but if we broke below 11 cent, then it's kind of hard to say where exactly we catch. But as of right now, let's say we closed above the 13 mark and the news was negative tomorrow for a number of reasons, and we retrace back down to around the 11 cent mark. That would be, you could say, you could at least expect there to be some resistance here on the way down and possibly get another bounce from that area. So if you have a lower DCA or if you're just getting in, and like if you're buying now, I would consider buying more once we got back down to this area, if we got that rejection tomorrow. So it really just depends. That's up in the air. But going forward here, this is obviously we have the catalyst and the momentum and stuff going forward. So ultimately, you'd want your DCA to be as far away from that price at whenever that announcement comes that Dogecoin is getting ready to go live. You want your DCA as low as possible from that price so that you'll have the biggest spread. So obviously that's up to you and when you purchase your coins. So that is my Dogecoin update on price action for today, where I see the next point of resistance at for the coin. So if you like that, check the video out. Check out my other videos. Excuse me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out Moomoo as well. Payment for order flow free trading, and also you can check out my Patreon where you can get access to my trades every week and speak with me on Zooms weekly as well as we prepare to enter into the market. So with that being said, I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in the next video.